We had hoped coming into this week that the Colts, with the new coaching staff, the way the team's been playing, the way the energy's been, hey, this was the year that we were going to break the curse in Jacksonville. My friends, that is not what happened. Okay, Colts go into Jacksonville, lose 37-20. Okay, and to run down some of these stats real quick, we'll just look at stats and then we'll talk about what actually happened. Okay, but stats will give you some indication. Gardner Minshew, 33 of 55, 329, one touchdown, three interceptions. Okay, staying in the pass game, Michael Pittman Jr., 9 catches, 109 yards. Kylan Granson, 3 catches, 67 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 5 for 46. Zach Moss, 6 for 38. Alec Pierce, 5 for 25. Isaiah McKenzie, 2 for 23. Josh Downs, 5 for 21. And Josh Downs finally gets his first touchdown in the NFL as he got a touchdown to finally get the Colts on the board with the touchdown. Looked like the Colts might be able to mount a comeback in this game. They were unable to do so. And as we look here towards the rushing, you see Zach Moss, 7 carries, 21 yards, and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 8 carries, 19 yards. Dude, the running backs, especially early on, we were doing a lot of the, passing to have an extension of the run game kind of thing, right? So you look at Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor again, total of 11 catches. Okay, so a lot of check downs, a lot of that extension of the run game, but it just wasn't the move today, right? I don't know what we were supposed to do. The offense that we were running late in the game was working, right? Getting down the field. And yeah, Jacksonville plays a certain defense to try to take away those deep shots, but we were able to open it up going down the field. So my question is, where was that earlier in the game? Why didn't we try to establish the run earlier in the game? I think we came out and threw 5 straight passes, 6 straight passes, something like that. And this is 1 week after we had just dominated Tennessee in the run game. We had just had 165 yards with Zach Moss in the run game, and we didn't even try to come out and establish the run. I didn't really understand the philosophy on that, right? So let's look over here at the Jaguar stats real quick. Trevor Lawrence was 20 for 30, 181, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So modest stats, but the stats, again, don't tell the full story of what happened. Travis Etienne was their best ball carrier, 18 carries, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 3.1 per carry. We did a good job on him. And then the receivers, right? Calvin Ridley went off against us last time. He had 4 catches for 30 yards. Evan Ingram had 7 catches, 41 yards. Christian Kirk, 3 for 49 and a touchdown. Brandon Strange had 2 big-time catches for them for only 27 yards. One of them was a touchdown. And that one touchdown came on a drive after Gardner Minshew had thrown an interception. And when you go and look at all these team stats, right, this is why some stats will lie to you, man. You got to watch football. Look at total yards. Colts won that battle 354-233. Passing yards 310-148. Now the Colts only had 44 rushing yards to Jacksonville's 85. But again, total yards, we had 121 more yards than they did. We had more yards per play on offense than they did at 4.7 to 3.8. So our defense played really, really well. But also, when you look at the scoreboard, it's like, okay, how did it get that way? And the simple answer is turnovers. We talk about turnovers all the time, okay? Colts had 4 turnovers. The Jaguars only turned the ball over 1 time. Okay, the Colts actually had the ball more in this game, right? But not in the second half. In the second half, you saw, especially in the third quarter, you saw the Colts defense on the field a lot, right? You can also toss in the second quarter where Jacksonville beat us 21-3. Okay, in those 2 middle quarters, Colts got outscored 31-3. Absolutely ridiculous. And those turnovers were a big part of that happening, right? Gardner Minshew in those time frames. Gardner Minshew, 2 interceptions, also had the fumble. There were other times he was missing throws on second and third down. Can't sustain drives. Like all the stats play into the Colts' favor, except for turnovers. And when you look at the turnovers are the only reason that the Jag stats look the way they do, right? Because they kept operating on short fields. We kept giving them opportunities, and they kept capitalizing on them. And when push came to shove, the Colts needed to be able to execute, and they had a chance to make it a 1-score game late. And Gardner Minshew throws the other interception. So at the end of the day, at what this whole game comes down to is the Colts' inability to execute their own stuff. This wasn't about the Jaguars beating us. This is just like week one, where the Colts once again find a way to beat themselves throughout the game. Every time they get something going, right? They have the 2 touchdown drives. That's great. We can build on that with Gardner Minshew. But through the 3 games that the Colts have lost, they lose those games because they shoot themselves in the foot. So they got to get that corrected, that kind of stuff. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of it falls back on coaching, right? The stuff that you're learning, but the players also have to execute in the moment, right? Penalties at terrible times. There was a holding call on Alec Pierce that set back a drive early in the game when we needed to go down and score. And that drive, we end up, going 3 and out because of that, punting the ball away. And those kinds of things, like those kinds of mistakes, shooting yourselves in the foot, are the kinds of things that'll really set everything behind, right? The defense ended up tightening up. When you see again 3.8 yards per play for the Jaguars, the defense performed really well. There were a couple drives they let it get away from them, but for the most part, the defense was doing their thing. It was just the defense was put in so many bad spots. So I'm going to have another video. I'm going to try to do another video today talking about Gardner Minshew. There's a lot to unpack with the whole Gardner Minshew situation. So I want to talk about that in its own video. If I can't get that to you today, it'll be first thing tomorrow. But either way, go ahead and make sure you subscribe with notifications on so that you get notified when that video does come out. I'd like you guys to join that conversation. And hey, look, at the time of this recording, we're only 14 subscribers away from 1,000. If you're not one of those people and you've been returning to the channel, hey, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's a great free way to support the channel. And again, you can continue to get notified when different videos are coming out, when we just want to have conversations or when there's some news that comes out that I want to get to you guys. Either way, I'd like you guys to get notified and stay involved in the conversations along the way. And with that said, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.